The engine barely had time to cool before a shadow loomed over my windshield. 6 legs thudded against the cracked alien highway. A beast, twice the size of a hover truck, snorted steam. On its back sat her. Brown skin. Ridiculous loincloth made of old credit chips. 2 blasters strapped to her thighs like overcompensation incarnate. And then she said it. "You shall not pass, human!" in the kind of dramatic voice that sounded like she'd rehearsed it naked in the mirror. I leaned out the window. "Is this about the speeding ticket?" She narrowed her eyes. "This is a sacred tollway. Payment must be made, in flesh." I blinked. "Like lunch? Or are we skipping the metaphor?" She flipped her braids. "Mating rights. 1 full night. Or you turn back." I glanced back. 10 miles of cratered desert, and a swarm of angry trading bots who still wanted a refund for those self-heating socks. "So, coupons are off the table?" Her beast growled like it was in on the joke. She grinned and slid down from the saddle like a stripper dismounting a pole carved by tribal ancestors. I opened the door, stepped out, and immediately realized 2 things. 1. Her beast had no leash. 2. Either did she. She circled me, sniffed audibly, and smirked. "You smell like caffeine and desperation." "Acceptable." I offered a handshake. She grabbed something else entirely. "I am Ithri of the Tollways," she said. "Sworn guardian of the Highway of Groans." I choked. "Sorry, the what?" "Translation matrix glitch." "But fitting, yes?" She gestured at the horizon. "We'll ride together. You may scream at checkpoints. That's supposed to sound sexy, right?" She raised an eyebrow. "You scream. I decide if it's sexy." I sighed, got in the driver's seat, and she swung herself into the passenger side like she just claimed it, and me. "So," I tried, adjusting my seatbelt. "This your usual thing? Toll the highway, demand intimate currency, ride off with strangers?" She shrugged. "Sometimes they run. I enjoy the chase. You walked into my snare like a naked snack." "Right. So what's the conversion rate on mating rights? 1 night per mile?" "Depends on stamina. Yours, I mean. But also mine." We drove. Well, I drove. She adjusted her loincloth every 3 minutes like it was part of some flirty ritual. Eventually, she just tossed it in the glove box. I pretended not to notice. She very much noticed me not noticing. "Do all humans pretend not to look?" she teased, feet on the dash. "We usually call it respecting boundaries." "Strange. On my planet, we call it foreplay starvation." She reached into the console, pulled out one of my protein bars, bit it, and moaned. "I don't know what's in this," she said, mouth half full. "But I'd let it do terrible things to me. That's a peanut butter crunch." "Ah. The butter of crushed nuts. Your species is creative." 10 minutes in, she was stretched across the seat like a feline sunbather. "Are you mated human? Currently?" "No." "Previously?" "Yes." "Frequently?" "Unfortunately." She tapped her chin. "Good. You have experienced heartbreak. It'll make your desperate clinging after tonight more interesting. You really think highly of yourself. I once caused a man to propose during a sneeze. And not to me." By nightfall, the desert glowed violet and the temperature dropped. My thermal jacket became her blanket, and my emergency heater became her foot warmer. She pressed close. "Body heat required," she declared, curling against me. "Toll ritual. Is everything a toll ritual?" She looked up. "Not everything. Sometimes it's dessert." Her breath warmed my neck. She sniffed again. "Still caffeine and desperation. But now with unresolved tension." I rolled my eyes. "You're insufferable." She licked my ear. "And you're flammable." We didn't sleep. Not because of romance, but because her beast snored louder than a sandstorm caught in a metal drum. She rolled over, elbowed me in the ribs, then draped her leg over mine like I was a body pillow she'd conquered. "Now you are mine," she whispered. For the night, right? She smiled in the dark. We'll see. At dawn, she climbed atop her beast and pointed east. You have paid the toll. I exhaled. But, she added, I am not done with you. Of course you're not. You will take me to the next checkpoint. There are more rituals. You make this sound like a loyalty program. She raised a finger. Exactly. You now belong to the Toll Guardian Preferred Mating Club. Do I get a card? She leaned down, whispered in my ear. You get me. I started the engine. Do I get to leave eventually? She chuckled. No one ever leaves the highway of groans, not without groaning. I stared ahead. She stared at me. The beast let out a sound I could only describe as approval. And somehow I knew I wasn't escaping this road trip romance alive. Not without screaming, laughing, and probably some light emotional damage. The next morning, I awoke to find her already squatting over a campfire, roasting some unidentifiable meat on a stick. Her beast was chewing a cactus in the background like it had personal beef with it. She turned and smirked at me. Sleep well, tollpayer? She teased, licking her fingers in a way that didn't feel necessary, but was very distracting. I still have a valid transit license, I said, brushing cactus fuzz off my pants. The Galactic Union declared this route public centuries ago. She snorted. Then where's the fun in that? That summed her up, entirely uninterested in legality, and entirely invested in turning every minor interaction into either foreplay or mockery. She offered me breakfast, which I refused. Not because I wasn't hungry. Just because it blinked at me. So, I said, trying to keep the situation grounded. What is the official mating toll rate? Hourly? Nightly? Based on performance? She grinned like I just asked how much to insult a high priest. Performance-based, obviously. I'm not a charity. When we set off again, her riding the beast like it was a personal throne and me walking beside them like a reluctant pilgrim, she made up random laws every mile. No stepping on purple rocks. Compliments must be paid hourly. Staring at my thighs without permission incurs a kiss tax. I tripped over a vine and muttered, I'm going to die out here. Not before you pay the long-distance toll, she said, and I couldn't tell if she meant with credits, tongue, or my sanity. By noon, she had insisted on stopping at a hot spring because, quote, I need to exfoliate before I feel frisky again. She stripped with zero warning, tossed her weapons to me like I was her squire, and waded in. You coming in or just going to guard my undies like a good little toll slut? I tried to be noble. I tried to stay focused. But nobility takes a back seat when a glistening alien woman who smells like lavender and danger says, Join me. We soaked in silence for 10 seconds before she decided to relieve the tension. She slid over with the subtlety of a missile and mounted me like she was reasserting her road ownership. You still owe for yesterday's trespass. I coughed. You collected that toll. Twice. Double entry requires double fees. She purred. After, we lay on a flat stone, both steaming. She tossed me a leaf. Wipe your shame. You're insufferable. I muttered. And yet you follow me, she replied. I must be doing something right. Later, when we stopped to camp again, she declared the beast jealous and made me sleep with it. Literally. She's sensitive. You can't keep ignoring her. Your beast has a crush on me? Obviously, she said deadpan. You're warm and submissive. Her type. That night, as I curled up next to the six-legged jealous lizard dog and questioned my life choices, she sang a strange lullaby in a language that sounded like burps and poetry. And just before I fell asleep, I heard her whisper, Toll's not paid in full. Not yet. I didn't know what disturbed me more, how she said it or how much I was starting to look forward to the next toll booth. I didn't realize how many toll rituals she had until we hit the second night. She claimed proximity warmth was essential to prevent beast-induced hypothermia. Her beast looked fine. I, however, got treated like a space-heated pillow while she slid her bare legs over mine and warned me not to wiggle too much. We had a long debate over what constituted payment, during which she explained, with diagrams in the sand, that mating rights were sacred barter. I offered her my plasma torch, a full flask of whiskey, even a limited edition Queen Zarlax's hollow sticker. She considered the sticker, but still said no. That's not worth the kind of riding I expect. She winked. Next morning, I woke up to her grinding spice bark into paste while humming something that sounded suspiciously like a human pop song. I confronted her. She denied it. Then asked if my shirt came off easily or if she'd have to earn it. That wasn't a metaphor. She tugged it and I nearly got dislocated. She laughed so hard she fell off a boulder, landing face first in beetle nectar, then tried to claim the crash was part of an ancient seduction dance. We got stopped at a checkpoint by actual alien patrol drones. I thought I was saved. Instead, she pulled me close and declared me her bonded travel mate. Apparently, on her world, kissing meant, "He's under my protection." She kissed me. Hard. The drone asked for proof. She gave it more. Let's just say, the drones backed off fast. I was dazed. Her lipstick tasted like pepperfruit and regret. Back on the road, if you can call a beast's trail a road, she demanded more. Emotional tolls. These included cuddling, eyebrow massages, and singing a duet from her homeworld's operatic mating drama. The clutching of claws. I did the deep growly part. She said I was terrible. I told her it wasn't in my vocal range. She said she was willing to compromise. I ended up howling under the moon while she rated my performance and stroked her thigh meaningfully. We argued over who got the last fruit ration. She suggested a sharing mouth game. I said that sounded suspicious. She said, "No, just erotic." Then proceeded to shove half the fruit in her mouth and lean in with romantic combat energy. I choked on a seed. She said that made her want me more. Later, we camped near a bubbling hot spring. She insisted it was sacred. I asked if that meant no bathing. She said it meant only shared bathing. I tried to argue, she pushed me in. While I tried to recover my modesty, she stripped without shame and waded in like a queen entering her element. The water steamed around her curves, and her grin said she knew exactly how distracting she was. She casually asked, "Are human males always this slow to offer tribute?" I told her we usually prefer dinner first. She said, "I am the dinner," then started slathering herself in mud. I got out and wrapped myself in a blanket. She followed, leaving wet footprints and teasing me that my legs looked like they'd never been worshipped properly. She sat next to me, very close, and started drawing symbols on my thigh with her finger. I asked what that meant. She said, "Just mapping future traffic zones." I didn't sleep much that night. Every time I dozed, I'd wake to her spooning me, murmuring "mine," like I was a cargo crate she claimed at auction. I once rolled away. She yanked me back with a strength no woman that petite should have. "You move, I charge double toll," she growled in my ear. I gave up. By the third sunrise, my ship's signal pinged faintly in the distance. Rescue was near. I didn't feel relief. I felt dread. She caught me glancing toward the ping. "Thinking of running?" she asked, licking her lips slowly. I stammered. She smirked. "Then I guess I'd better make sure you're too satisfied to leave." I never even saw the beast sneak up and sit behind me. Suddenly I was trapped between curved alien muscle and a furry six-legged mount that smelled like wild cinnamon. She whispered, "Toll time." I whispered back, "I forgot my wallet." She just grinned and said, "That's okay, I take installments." By the fourth sunrise I'd lost the will to argue and half my rations. Her beast had begun treating me like one of the herd, nudging me whenever it wanted a scratch. I gave up resisting and started scratching its ears in rhythm, like I was in a very niche interspecies therapy session. She watched from her perch, chewing some alien jerky and offering zero emotional support. "You make a decent pet," she finally muttered, tossing a ration bar at my head. "You're lucky I don't collar you." I didn't tell her the beast had already tried. That night, the temperature dropped again. She grumbled, kicked off her furs, and practically fell onto me. Sharing heat is part of the toll, she said, shoving a cold foot between my thighs like we were already married. You owe me back interest in cuddles. I pointed out I hadn't agreed to any interest rate. She said my protest was invalid unless filed with her in writing, using her back as the parchment. She wiggled, daring me to do it. I didn't, mostly because her beast had laid its snout on my chest and snored like a star cruiser. In the morning, we argued over who had morning breath worse. She accused me of blowing human stink into the air filters. I accused her of snoring in 2 different languages. She bit me. I bit back. Somewhere in there, we decided to brush our teeth in a river that turned out to be mildly acidic. She laughed while I flailed. I called her a sadist. She said, "That's foreplay on my planet." Halfway to the next trade post, we got attacked by a flock of mating feather bugs. They nested in my pants and declared me their hive queen. She didn't help. She took pictures. Then offered to trade me to a merchant caravan for 5 credits and a tube of alien wax. The caravan declined. I never forgave them. But she kept the wax. At a checkpoint guarded by robotic customs agents, she pretended I was her captive, dragged me in on a leash, and told them I was an unlicensed breeder trying to cross her sacred land. They asked for my permit. I asked for a lawyer. She moaned and told the customs bots I had performance issues. One of the bots offered me a stimulant chip and an instruction manual. I deleted my search history in shame. That night, I refused to share her tent. She snuck into mine, wore my shirt, laid on my chest, said nothing. Just listened to my heart like she was mapping the rhythm of it. I asked why. She said, "Your pulse is weird. Feels like home." I didn't know what to say. So I told her she drools in her sleep. She said I grind my teeth. Somehow, that turned into a game of who could find more flaws. It ended when she whispered, "You're stubborn and warm. That's enough." By day 6, her loincloth was falling apart. She replaced it with a sash made of galactic coupons I had been saving for a burger back on Earth. She wore it like a victory belt and dared anyone to question it. The beast snorted every time she struck a pose. We both began suspecting the beast was judging us. Especially after it caught us half undressed behind a cargo container. She blamed me for being too tempting. I blamed her for initiating toll inspection. She said, "It's a border security check." I said, "You just wanted to grope me." She didn't deny it. In one village, a matchmaker mistook us for a couple and offered a ceremonial bonding. She laughed until the matchmaker offered free drinks. Then she accepted. I protested. She dragged me up anyway. The bonding involved dancing naked while aliens threw petals and chanted suggestive rhymes. I slipped. She caught me. Our eyes locked. And I nearly forgot she was wearing my socks. Later, I asked if she'd done that before. She said, "No. But you're good practice." I still don't know if she meant the dancing or the pretending not to feel anything part. Our final toll stop was a cliffside bazaar guarded by a one-eyed slug named Vrub. He looked at her, then me, and said, "Mating fee or keep moving." She growled, "I'm the toll guardian. I do the demanding." Vrub laughed and handed her a form. She crumpled it. I offered him a coupon. He tried to eat it. I sighed and pulled out my emergency chocolate bar. Vrub sniffed it. We passed. She looked disappointed. "No toll dance?" I said. "We already did 3 yesterday." She pouted. "But you're finally getting good at the hip swivel." That night, we parked under the twin moons. She leaned into me, beasts curled around us. "When this road ends," I said, "you'll let me go?" She shrugged. "Maybe. If you don't annoy me too much." I laughed. "So never then?" She smirked, reached for my hand. "You're not that bad. For a hairless, sarcastic toll dodger." I kissed her forehead. "You're not that bad either. For a highway thief in a coupon loincloth." The beast huffed. She flipped it off. When I finally reached the outer pass, she stared at the road ahead. Said nothing. Just watched me pack. I walked a few steps. She didn't move. I turned. She whispered, "You forgot to pay the last toll." I sighed. Of course I did. Walked up to her. Pulled her in. Kissed her like it was a bribe and a promise. She clung to me. Whispered, "Still not enough." I said, "I'll owe you forever." She smiled. "Damn right you will." She never did let me leave. But somehow, I didn't mind anymore.